Yes, people, we're live. Check out the Kmart channel. I'm going to go live for an hour or so. Lots and lots to talk about again. It's been another busy day. Let's get there. Come on. Evening. I hope we are all well today. Been another busy day of Liverpool transfer news and proper craziness across the board, really. Got loads and loads of stuff to cover again. Obviously, loads of bombers, loads of breaking news. It's been wild. It's just what we like. We absolutely love this. We want to be involved in these names. We want these big players to be linked with Liverpool. We want Liverpool to be talking to these players. This is exactly what we wanted. After winning the league, players are all on a break in Dubai, on slots in Ibiza at Ocean Beach, partying it. You know, you got videos of Mo Salah and Dominic Szoboszlai and Virgil and Alisson just chilling out in Dubai, all exclusive, 5-star hotel, just having fun, eating, chilling out, enjoying it, having a week off. Just what we want to see. Guys have deserved it. Won the league title. Amazing. Put in a mammoth effort all season. Obviously, Mo and Virgil signed new contracts. You know, what could be better? Obviously, Trent's leaving. That's done. We all know that's happening. He can fuck off. My monetization's gone there already. He can fuck off. Real Madrid are also trying to get him for the Club World Cup. So that one's probably gonna escalate. Really interesting. Loads of players that are linked with moves away. Lots of stuff coming up around those players that I want to talk about. And then obviously we've got David Ornstein, Bomber, talking about Florian Wirtz. Huge thing. I mean, absolutely monstrous. Also, more stuff about Frimpong. Kind of want to go on through the agenda one by one. So first of all, if you haven't hit the like and subscribe, please do. Please do hit the like right now. It's free. Really helps with the algorithm. Looking to get maybe 100, maybe 50 likes today, depending on how many people come in. 20 of you in here. If you're new and you haven't subscribed to the channel, and you do while you're here, please let me know in the chat and I'll give you a welcome. And also, some of the posse here will also welcome you as well. Couple of shout outs to people who have arrived in. Big up Malcolm, big up Neil, big up Victor. I've not seen you in here before. If you've liked and subscribed, please do, mate. He absolutely is. I also want to kind of cover a couple of other things about Frimpong, which I think not negative, but there's a lot of heat coming the opposite direction. We'll never pull big ones off, but with Hughes and Edwards, they're not messing around, are they, mate? Let's be honest. Look at the players we're linked with. Not messing around at all. Obviously, I think what's really interesting is, you know, we're probably going to sign players that we've not been linked with at all. Like, there's going to be a random bomber that's going to come out of the blue, and it's just going to make us all go, whoa, I did not see that one coming. Interesting. I've got a few more bits on Florian Wirtz, by the way. I think there may be a little bit more to that deal than we actually understand, which I want to talk about. But I also want to talk about Frimpong first. So there's 30 of you in here. Good to have you on board. I'm now going to start the show properly, start sharing my screens, okay? Okay, first of all, let's take a look at the Frimpong news. Yeah. So what do we know about Frimpong? Yeah. So far, it's a relatively low value for his release clause, which is 29 million. He's homegrown. Personal terms, not a problem. We've already agreed a 5-year contract on Frimpong, and the wages are not a problem. Okay. What I will say about Frimpong, everything that you are seeing and hearing that's coming from Germany is from Frimpong's agents. Okay. He really wants this move. Like, his agent is pushing for this move. That's not saying that Liverpool aren't interested, but Liverpool have other players that they are also looking at. Okay. So there's a lot of this which is coming from the agent and the player himself. Okay. The player wants to move, the agent wants to move. Okay. That doesn't mean Liverpool will sign him. Okay. I just want to make that clear, because it's not a done deal, because it's not done deal. It's not done from Liverpool's side. Okay. But everything from his side is pushing for the move. They really want this move. Okay. Frimpong sees himself as Trent's replacement. Okay. Slot really wants Frimpong. Okay. He's interested in him. However, Connor Bradley is a serious option. Okay. They really do see Connor Bradley as a regular first team player for Liverpool. And they may well look at a option which can come in and cover for Connor Bradley, instead of Connor Bradley covering for the player that's coming in. Okay. And this is what we need to really understand. Okay. The club rate Connor Bradley highly. They see him as a Trent replacement. Yeah. They see him as a Trent replacement, Connor Bradley. However, the injuries to Connor Bradley over the last couple of years have made them think that they could ease him in as a regular in the future. And the player that they bring in will cover as the main starter for the next year or two, until Connor Bradley then takes over the role. And the option is with Frimpong, he could eventually take over from Salah, because he's such an attack-minded player. And that's the conversations that's being had. Whether they get this guy in, yeah, who can do that role, who can also cover for Salah, and then eventually could actually replace Salah. When Salah goes, he then takes over his position, and then Connor Bradley is then the mainstay. Okay, there's options there. But also, Connor Bradley hasn't signed a new contract, and he only has 2 years left on his deal. I covered this yesterday. I covered 2 contracts which people are overlooking completely. Yeah, everybody's focusing on Luis Diaz and Konate. Well, they're mainly focusing on Konate because he's only got 1 year left. But they're looking at Luis Diaz and Jota, and they're going, "Oh, those guys have only got 2." Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, yeah, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, and Connor Bradley only have 2 years left on their deals, which means at the end of this year, they only have 1 year left, which means that these contracts also need to be renewed soon. So these are contracts which are also being talked about. Curtis Jones has already had a contract offered to him and he's turned it down. Connor Bradley had a contract offered to him and it got laughed off. Like, they literally laughed it off because it was measly. Because these 2 guys, Connor Bradley's on 10 grand a week, maybe 15. Curtis Jones is on 15, maybe 20. They're on such low wages, and because they are regular players, they expect to be paid a handsome sum. They expect to be paid near 100 grand. So these 2 guys are going to be going from 10 grand, 20 grand to 100 grand. The club aren't prepared to offer that. The club don't want to go from a small pay rise to a massive pay rise. That's not how the club works. Like when Trent came in, he was on low wages and then he got bumps and then he got bumps. And that's how it worked with Trent until he got his major contract when he was 22. That's when he got his major contract. He got a 4-year deal and he went to 180. Curtis Jones is nearly 24. He's going to expect 100 grand minimum. And Conor Bradley's 21, but people are looking at him like he's going to be our next main right back. If he's going to be our next main right back, he's going to want a contract which is worthy of a Premier League starting right back for the whole season for a team that's going to win the league. So he's going to expect 100 grand minimum, and the club aren't prepared to offer that, which is why they are looking at other options, and that's where Frimpong comes into the picture. I just want to make that clear that we can't just automatically think, oh, we're signing Frimpong, because the club see Bradley as a first team player. If Bradley's going to get bumped back down to back up for Frimpong, he's probably not going to sign a new deal, which means we may lose Bradley in a year's time. We may have to sell Bradley in a year's time. And this is the conversation we need to have because we've been left in such a bad way with contracts. They're all over the place because they just weren't dealt with. None of these guys should be going down to 2 years, and none of these guys should be on such low wages. They should have had pay rises. They should have had increment pay rises to get them to a stage where they're playing in the Premier League, doing at least 30 games. Yeah, they're both at the age of like 24, 23, 22, and they're on 30, 40 grand. They're on good wages, which means their next pay packet with a salary increase will be 180, 100 grand, which makes sense. But you can't go from 20 grand to 100 grand. Like, that's just not how we do things. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for a deal to happen like that. That's not how it works. That's not how Liverpool, that's definitely not how Edwards and Hughes are going to do things. So this is a conversation that needs to be had. And this is why it's really hard to get Jones and Bradley on new deals. It's going to be really difficult. And if Conor Bradley's going to get then bumped back down to second choice because we signed Frimpong, Conor Bradley's not going to sign a new deal. And Conor Bradley is an unbelievable right back. He could be the next Andy Robertson. Like, he's a brilliant, brilliant player. He's got everything about him. The injury problems, we understand, but there's also conversations around why those injury problems have occurred, and it does look like he's not being looked after properly on the training pitch. He's overexerting himself in games. He's putting too much effort in. He's doing too many runs. He's outpacing himself in games because he's not being managed properly. And that's not down to Slot and the team. That's down to the previous regime that just let the players do what the friggin' hell they wanted. You know, as soon as Arne Slot came in with his medical team and his fitness team, the first thing they did was stop the players doing those stupid rondas, doing those stupid litmus tests where they were just burning themselves to death. And then the next thing they stopped them doing so many weights because they were putting on too much body mass and they were making themselves too heavy and their muscles were too heavy, which means they were picking up hamstrings and muscle injuries all the time. And they found out straight away why that happened. And it happened because they kept on going to the gym. All these players were all beefing up. They were too muscular. They weren't lean. They weren't lean in the way that they need to be. Their body mass needs to be a certain way. to be fully athletic, for them to not pick up injuries, for them not to get muscle injuries on a regular basis. And look what's happened. It's only been a year, it's only been a season, and the injuries have dropped by 20, 30%. Players who haven't played that much football ever in their careers without being injured have played. Konate is a completely different player now. Like, we can now look at Konate and go, yeah, he doesn't get injured anymore. He got injured this season because Endrick took his knee out. That wasn't because of a muscle injury. That was just because it was a bad tackle. But Conor Bradley is a problem with the injuries, and it's muscle injuries down to overexerting himself physically on the pitch, and that needs to be monitored, and that's what they're going to look at next season. But like I said, we sign Frimpong, Conor Bradley goes back down the pecking order, Conor Bradley will not sign a new contract, which means Conor Bradley might be a player that leaves in a year's time, because we can't get him get him signed up, because he needs to be reassured that he's going to have a part to play in Liverpool, and he sees himself as Trent's successor, and so does so does the club. Okay, I just want to make that clear. All right. I also want to reiterate as well that we do have other options that people haven't spoken about, and I will bring up one of them right now. And don't come at me in the chat, but this is a player that Liverpool see as an option as backup for Conor Bradley. Okay, nobody's talking about him, but I'm going to bring him up on here now. Okay, don't come at me in the chat. All right. Okay, can anyone see that player? Okay, Kenny Tete. He's also Dutch as well, by the way. We do seem to have a thing for Dutch players right now. I wonder why. Don't come at me in the chat, okay? But Kenny Tete is being looked at from the club as a potential backup option to Conor Bradley if we decide not to go for Frimpong and to use Bradley as a first team starter. Yeah, Kenny Tete is a really good player, by the way. He came from, I think he came from Monaco, maybe Monaco or Lyon. He came from a French team. He's on good wages, on 50 grand a week. By the way, he's on a free transfer. His contract expires at the end of the season. Okay, he's a regular player on the right-hand side for Fulham, and they've obviously got the left-hand side with Anthony Robinson, who's another player that we've looked at. The reason why Kenny Tete has come up is because we've been scouting Robinson, and then we've obviously looked at Tete and gone, hang on a minute, here's a right back here whose contract's expiring. He wants to leave the club. He wants to try something different. Yeah, he's available. He's a guy that we could get in, and he could cover for Conor Bradley. He would be cover. He's a 29-year-old, by the way. So he would just be cover for Bradley until something happens, and then maybe we have to play him. But he played 20 games last season. Okay, don't come at me in the chat, but that is definitely a player that Liverpool are looking at as a potential backup for Bradley, because the club is looking at backup players for Bradley in case we decide to just go with Bradley. Yeah. Or a first team starter. Okay, it's either or. Okay, there's another player as well, which Liverpool are looking at. Why? Can anyone see me? Can you see me? Yeah, can you see me? Okay. That's a really good point. However, they've got an extra year add-on which they've activated, so that's not going to happen. Nottingham Forest are not going to let that happen, so they're going to extend. Yeah, I'm going to have to close some. I'm going to have to close some screens. Yeah, I'm going to have to close some screens. Okay, so Kenny Tete is one player, yeah, which Liverpool are looking at as backup for Bradley. Another player they're looking at is Michael Kayode. Another player they're looking at is Michael Kayode. Michael Kayode was a player. Yeah, yeah. It's funny that you've just said that. I'm literally bringing him up as you just said it. Michael Kayode is a player that they were looking at anyway when he was at Fiorentina, but they weren't sure that he could hack it in the Premier League. So they allowed him to go to Brentford for then to play for Brentford, and now they've seen him, and they could make a bid for him. Remember, Brentford have already got a first team right back in Rico. What's his name? Rico. I think his name is Rico, isn't it? He's a really good player. But he's been out. He's been out with injuries. I think it's Rico Hall or something like that. But they've already got a player who's their first team starter, and he's now back to fitness, which means that Kayode will drop down the pecking order again. And he's only young; he's only 20 years old. But we're looking at him, Rico Henry. I basically said everything but the Henry bit. Yeah, I think he's brilliant. By the way, Rico Henry. I think he's a really good player. So they've got Rico Henry. So that's their first team starter. They're in to basically cover for him while he was injured, because he was injured. This guy has been on our radar for a while, so they might get him as a backup for Bradley, so the pair of them can kind of dovetail. So that's another option that Liverpool are looking at, which I think is really interesting. But I will say that the Frimpong deal is pretty close. Okay, so but it's not done. It's just not done. Okay, I'm just going to say that it's just not done. Okay, so the verbal agreements between Frimpong, his agent was in Manchester. I think it was yesterday, day before. So conversations have already been had. There's been a lot that's been going on with Liverpool over the last couple of days. Obviously, Arnie went away and the players went away, and basically the scouting team and Richard Hughes and all the people who were dealing with transfers stayed behind, and they've been having meetings with various players and various agents. And obviously this one is one which has happened. We haven't spoken to Frimpong, like personally, like we've spoken to his agent, but everything's done. Like if we want to pull the trigger, we can on this one, and it's definitely possible. Look, Luke, I really want this one to happen as well, but this is all of this that you're seeing in the media is from him. It's from his side. It's not from Liverpool, which is why David Lynch said, and I will quote David Lynch on this one. It's why David Lynch said he's been told by someone close to him that he trusts Frimpong is not that close from Liverpool's side. Okay. He said he doesn't know whether Frimpong will happen. He said everything is from the other side. So it's all one way. Liverpool have not decided this the player they want. They've not decided it yet. So I just want to let you know that we can't be getting too carried away with this one. Okay, we can't be getting this too carried away with this one. But if we want him, he's ours. However, the club see Bradley as a first team choice. If they think Bradley can play first team football next season, as a regular, then they'll go for a backup. And the backup they're looking at is Tete. It's not Vanderson. Vanderson will be a first choice starter. It's not Gertrude either. Gertrude would be a first team starter. It would be Tete and it would be KO Day. Okay. And they're not Hollywood names. Like, I know they're not A-lister names, but they see Bradley as a A-lister player for the future. Okay. That's all I'm going to say on it. All right. But if we get Frimpong, amazing. I'm buzzing. All right. There's 67 of you in here. Hit the likes right now, please. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And let me know in the chat if you are a new subscriber, and we will welcome you, because there's loads of you in here now. All right. We can't sign. We can only sign Dutch players. You're not wrong, Michael. And I've got more Dutch players I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. Register, big up. Open okay now. Big up Gang and Deep. Big up Luke. Big up Red. Anyone else new in it? Anyone else in here? Butcher's big up AA. Harambe, big up. Okay, we're all in the house. Great. Okay, next player I want to talk about is another player from Bayer Leverkusen, which I think's an interesting one, to say the least. So where are we? Okay, so let's bring up this. Nope, it's not that one. It's not that one. Except. Okay, so I'm going to bring up this one here. I'm also going to this tab, because this tab seems to be really messing up. Okay, so okay, right, so I'm just going to scroll up. Right. Okay, so the bomber from so the bomber from okay, so the bomber from David Ornstein is Florian Wirtz. Yeah. Now, the interesting one is Florian Wirtz. Everybody assumed that Florian Wirtz was going to Bayern. Yeah, everybody assumed it. Okay. Now, this is dropped from Germany. Okay, this hasn't been leaked from England or Liverpool, by the way. This came from Germany. And his family, his dad's his agent, by the way, just in case you didn't know. So his dad's his agent. So you got another case of a Jude Bellingham, Trent Alexander-Arnold. This seems to be a regular thing now, where dads and mums are agents and stuff, which is just wild. But keep it in the family. Keep the money in the family, eh? So Florian Wirtz's mum and dad have been over in Manchester, okay, and that's all public knowledge, that they were speaking to Manchester City, okay. Manchester City have other players that they're interested in, by the way. Just in case you didn't know, Manchester City are also looking at Reinders, okay, the other Dutch player I was going to tell you about, yeah. Tino Reinders is high on Pep Guardiola's list of players to come in to replace Kevin De Bruyne. Okay, Florian Wirtz is also that guy. Okay, his list of about 2 or 3 people. yeah, and Wirtz is one. Okay, Wirtz has never been linked with Liverpool. Okay, we've been looking at Wirtz for a number of years. All right, Klopp's a massive fan. I've broken up again. Oh, this is ridiculous. Okay, I've broken up again. I'm going to have to close. I'm going to have to close some tabs. I'm going to have to close these two tabs. Okay, hopefully I'm better. Okay, so Wirtz has been a target for Guardiola. Everybody thought Wirtz would go to Manchester City. Everyone thought that. However, Liverpool have stepped in and also arranged a meeting. Yeah, but the meeting wasn't with his family. That's what everybody's being told. Okay, everybody's being told that the meeting was in Liverpool with the player, and the player went to AXA. That's not true. Okay, and this will come out in the next couple of days. Okay, we met the family and the player at Blackpool, and this is hilarious, by the way, because it's also where we met Virgil van Dijk. Isn't that a real coincidence that we meet a player who could be our marquee signing this season coming in the same place that we met Virgil van Dijk, who was our marquee signing that year that we got him? Yeah. So Wirtz's family flew into Blackpool Airport. You can go and look at this yourself, okay? Go and find this out yourself. Everything I'm telling you, just go and find out, okay? You can go and find this stuff out. You just need to look. You need to look hard enough. You also need to look in some German places as well, by the way. So, I'm breaking up again, for God's sake. I don't know why I'm breaking up. Like, I've closed all my tabs. I've closed all my tabs. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to close. Hang on. I'm going to have to close down my Safari. 2 seconds. Just bear with me for a second. If you haven't liked, subscribe, please do. I've closed down some more tabs. My computer's playing up. Be a StreamYard thing at the moment. Like it's not handling stuff well. Okay. So do I sound okay? You let me know if I sound okay. Right, okay, cool. All right. So as I was saying, Wirtz's family flew into not into Manchester, flew into Blackpool. Yeah, flew into Blackpool Airport. They went to Manchester, did all of that stuff. We've seen them before they went to Manchester. So we've already had a meeting with them in Blackpool. We've already spoken to Wirtz and we've already spoken to his family. So we have delivered our project. Yeah. And our project is potentially, yeah, we make Wirtz a free roaming number 10 for Liverpool next summer. So he plays the exact position that he plays for Bayer Leverkusen and also for Germany. There's no change. Yeah, we're not going to put him on the right. We're not going to put him on the left. We're not going to put him up front, or we're not going to drop him into midfield. He's going to move into the roaming role, which is what he has been so good at. He's also guaranteed to be our free kick taker as well. Like that's already been confirmed. And we see him as a future a player that we build a team around, because he's 22. Okay, he's a real linchpin. Like he's basically the Jude Bellingham that everybody wanted. Yeah, but he just comes from Germany instead. Like he's an absolute star. Like I think he's got like 196. He played 196 games. He's got like 60 goals and 60 assists. He's incredible on the ball. Like, he's press resistant. He's fast. He's always fit. He's just a great, great player to have. And it's a real statement of intent that we go and do something like this. However, Bayern Munich still think they've got their man. I don't think he's keen on staying. The question which needs to be asked as well. I've crashed again. What the hell is going on? There's also another question that needs to be asked as well. Who is going to replace Pep Guardiola? Because Pep Guardiola's potentially going at the end of this season, or he may only stay for one more season. Now, there's a lot of conversations around whether Vincent Kompany comes back from Bayern and goes into the Manchester City job. That's how Manchester City see the projection of Vincent Kompany. They wanted him to go to Bayern, get some more football education, get some more league management under his belt, and then move him into the Manchester City role. That's a fact. You can go and look at that yourself. Okay, they see him as the Guardiola successor. Now, the interesting one is Wirtz was potentially going to either play for Pep Guardiola or Vincent Kompany. Liverpool see us as being able to split that up because Wirtz isn't sure about the project with Manchester City because Manchester City aren't sure about their own project right now, and especially with 115 looming. And Bayern Munich, where do they play him? Like, he's not going to be able to be that guy that you build a team around because they've already got Musiala signed on a new deal. So there's not a place for him. There's a place for him at City. I'm not sure what happens to Foden, by the way, but there's a place for him at City. But there's a place sat there at Liverpool right now. Like, we're crying out for a number 10. We're crying out. At the moment, we're putting number 8s in number 10 position. That's what we've been doing all season. We've literally been putting Dominic Szoboszlai in there and then putting Curtis Jones in there and then looking at them going, those guys aren't number 10s. They're number 8s. Like, they're number 8 playing as a number 10. Wirtz is a number 10. 100%. So Liverpool are doing the right thing and going for the best guy in the world at that position. And then we can also have a conversation about the other number 10 that they're looking at. And the other number 10 is Ryan Cherki, who is the second choice behind Wirtz. We don't get Wirtz, we go for Cherki. And Cherki's got a £22 million release clause. The only thing about Cherki is his attitude and his fitness, like whether he's actually going to be able to do a lot of the defensive work. And Wirtz is a machine. Like, the really interesting thing about Bayer Leverkusen is they're losing loads of players. Like, they're potentially losing Frimpong, they're potentially losing Wirtz, they're going to be losing Jonathan Tah, who's going to Bayern Munich. I think it's an interesting one. And the project, which could potentially go through, is 150 million euros, which is Wirtz and Frimpong combined. And that's a huge amount of money. That's about 125 million quid. That's a lot of money that we'll be throwing at two players. But for me, I think you quite possibly got the best goal and assist right back in the world. So you've basically got Trent's replacement there. He can do everything Trent does. He can't pass it like Trent, but he can score and he can assist. Like, he can influence the game just as much as Trent does. Like, absolutely. So he's the best right back in the world behind Trent and maybe Hakimi for me. So you go and get him, and then you've got the best number 10 in the world. I don't see a better number 10 in the world. Maybe Dembele. Maybe Dembele. I mean, number 10, a natural number 10. Is there any better than Wirtz? Like, throw me some names in the chat. I'd be interested to see who you come up with. I'd be interested to see who you come up with. Like, I think he's got everything. He's sensational. Anyway, that's the stuff I've got on Wirtz. There's a meeting that happened. It happened with his family and himself, and it was in Blackpool, and it was before Manchester City had a conversation with him. Okay? That's all. I'm just a messenger. Okay? You can go and find this out yourself, and you will find out more information in the future. We proposed the project. Wirtz sees an opportunity as playing in England in the Premier League. He wants to challenge himself at the top level. I don't think Xabi Alonso is going to be able to sanction that deal. I don't think he's going to be able to sanction that deal. And the reason why Real Madrid are not going to be able to sanction that deal for Wirtz is because they have too much work to do in other areas. They have to sign a centre-back. And it looks like Dean Huijsen is signed for Real Madrid. He's agreed the deal. Real Madrid have already put together the 50 million. That's done. Just scratch that one off the list. Like, we all knew that Dean Huijsen was either going to choose Liverpool or he was going to choose Real Madrid. And he's chose Real Madrid. Like, it is what it is. Like, the guy picked Spain over Holland, and he's Dutch. Like, he had the chance to play for Spain, even though he's Dutch, even though he lived even though he lived in Holland, even though he's born in Holland. Sorry, that's what he's chose. Like, it is what it is. Like, no, I didn't know that he was going to Real Madrid, but I did say a while ago that if Real Madrid came to the table for Huijsen, he would choose Real Madrid. Like, and his agents has always pointed to Real Madrid or Chelsea. And his dad wanted him to come to Liverpool. His dad liked the Liverpool project, but as soon as Real Madrid started posting stuff in the news and that, his dad was liking posts. His dad was reposting magazine articles for Real Madrid. Look, at the end of the day, Real Madrid didn't get Lenny Yoro because they didn't think Lenny Yoro was worth it. Xabi Alonso thinks Huijsen is worth it. This is Xabi Alonso's choice. Real Madrid are getting Dean Huijsen because Xabi Alonso wants him. I don't think they're going to be able to sanction the Wirtz deal. They've thrown too much money into Trent. They've thrown too much money into Huijsen. They're going for a left back, and I don't know who that's going to be, but they're definitely going for a left back. So they've got to sanction the money for their left back as well. They're also looking at a goalkeeper, by the way. Don't rule out David Raya leaving Arsenal for Real Madrid. Don't rule that one out. Like, they're looking for a goalkeeper replacement because they can't trust their first choice goalkeeper. He gets injured a lot. They don't not in for Kerkez. Like, they're not in for Kerkez. They're not. The Kerkez stuff is coming from Kerkez's agent because he wants Liverpool to make a bid and get this deal done quickly. It's the same as Frimpong. All of the heat is coming from the agent of the player. So Frimpong There may be other clubs that are coming into the picture. Don't believe any of it. It's not. They're saying it to make Liverpool make a decision quicker. It's all cat and mouse stuff. It's how agents do things. It's how players make things happen. It's how they get new contracts. It's how players get moves. Oh, you're gonna steal my thunder, man! Don't be talking about that. That's the mystery centre back. How do you know this stuff, Neil? Neil, have you been? Have you got spyware on my computer? Actually, now that Neil's let the cat out of the bag, we might as well tell you who the mystery centre back is. Okay, so obviously, okay, it's actually tailed in quite nicely. So Dean Huijsen's not come to Liverpool, okay, which means that there's going to be another centre back that we're looking at. Okay, I'm gonna announce who the centre back is. Okay, and Neil's kind of let the cat out the bag that he's Colombian. Thanks, Neil. You do a lot of research as well. Fair play, mate. Fair play. Okay, so I'm going to show you who the centre back is. Where is he? Where is he? He's here. Hang on. Okay. Bear with me. Just got a back screen. Here he is. Okay. Maybe you don't even know who this guy is. Okay, but I'll tell you what. If you watch the game, if you watch the replay of the game tonight that Bologna won, the cup final, he was man of the match. That's not a bad advert for a player that we're linked with. This is the guy that Arne Slot wants, by the way. And I'll say Arne Slot because Arne Slot wanted to sign him when he was at Feyenoord. Okay, he wanted to sign him when he was at Feyenoord. Drum roll. Okay, there you go. So this is the guy. So this is who Liverpool are heavily linked with. Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, he's 26. He's an absolute beast. He's an absolute beast. I don't know a huge amount about him. I know that Bologna are doing pretty well. They just won the Italian Cup final. He got man of the match. He's had another good season. He's very rarely injured. He came from Genk, which is a Belgian team, which seems to be a lot of the transition of Colombian, Ecuadorian players. They kind of float into that league, and then they get transferred into different leagues like Germany or France or Italy, and then some of them obviously make their way over to the Premier League in the future. Yeah, he's on low wages. So that's a guy that we're looking at. He's also left-footed, by the way, in case you haven't noticed. We haven't got any left-footed centre backs. So that's the one that we're potentially looking at. There is another guy that we are looking at as well, which I will quickly bring up. And he's had a really good season. So I will bring his name up. Thomas Araujo. So if you don't know about this player, he's got a £67 million release clause. I mean, I don't know about you, but you're looking at a guy that can play the ball out from the back. I mean, I don't see anything wrong about that. That's a lot of green. My only issue is he's not great in the air. And he also a lot of interceptions either. So I've got a couple of flags there, but I mean the guy's a bit of a monster coming out from the back, which is always good. And the interesting thing about this one is he could also play right back. And I know I've just covered the right back area, but if we did want to get a centre back in, or a third choice centre back, or potentially a Canate replacement, and I know I've just said that, but Canate's not signed a new contract and he wants over £200,000 a week. So I don't know where this one's going to go. But if we do go and pull the trigger on this one, this is pretty much similar money to Dean Huijsen, because I know we could get the price down. Because what we could do is we could probably offer 50 million and then add-ons. It's Benfica. Like we did it with Nunes. It was 64 with loads of add-ons. We could probably do the same, 55 with add-ons. And then we get this guy. And then this guy can also be the right backup for Conor Bradley. That's all I'm saying. Like he's a good player. I haven't seen a huge amount of him. I don't watch Benfica at the moment, but like I do know that like there's 2 games to go, and they're joint top with Porto. But I will say he hasn't played a huge amount of football. Hang on, where's his game time? 2 seconds. We look at his game time. Where's his game time? Playing time. Yeah, so he's only played 43 games. So he's only played 65 games in 4 seasons. It's not a huge amount of game time he's played. I'll be completely honest. He's still only 22. You know, he's got a lot. There's a lot to like about him. He's a good player. I haven't got any more stats on him, by the way, so I don't even know how much he's on, like contract wise. But I wouldn't expect he's on a huge amount. That's all I've really got on him, and that name only came up recently, like over the last couple of days. I have got an article on him here, which I can show you, which is it this one? No, that's not it. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to show you for that one. There's also another player as well, which is a centre back, which I wanted to bring this up because I actually spoke about him a couple of ago. And this was by Lewis Steele, by the way. Hang on, I don't think I'm sharing my screen. Sorry, 2 seconds. I think my screen's going to crash again. Yeah, so this one got brought up by Lewis Steele a couple of days. Today, and I talked about this a couple of days ago, which is Gertruda. So Lewis Steele of the Daily Mail come out to report that Liverpool have RB Leipzig, Rochelle Gertruda on their shortlist for the summer. The Dutch international signed for €25 million, remains under contract. Gertruda thrived under Slot. Obviously, I don't know whether that's like. I'm not sure whether that's old news, which kind of is regurgitating, or whether that is just like Slot is interested in him because he used to have him. But he got 9 goals and 5 assists, like with Slot. Like when he played with Slot, like he's a really good player. Like, so, you know, if Slot really wants to go back into back into, go and look at old players. Not do a Ten Hag, by the way, and just like buy every single old player that he had. I mean, you can say that about Mats Riefer, but didn't Mats Riefer get man of the match in the last game and score the winner? Like Mats Riefer, it's his first season in the Premier League, and he's had some bad injuries, hasn't he, this season? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't see Schlotterbeck now. Like, I don't see it. I think that's probably. I think Schlotterbeck was going to be Virgil's replacement if Virgil went, but Virgil's not gone, so you're looking at backups. Schlotterbeck's a first teamer. Diamonde, he's a first teamer as well, mate. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but yeah, he's injured, so he gets injured a lot, so it is what it is. So I just wanted to bring that one up about him. I also wanted to cover. So this is another player who plays for Bologna. He's another centre back, by the way. Like, I don't know why we're linked with both centre backs from Bologna, but we are. And this is the other centre back, and his name's Sam Bukema. So he's a guy that Slot wanted when he was in Holland playing for Feyenoord. Bukema. He's another centre back. He's a pretty good player. Like, to be honest, I can bring him up on here actually. Where is he? Who's that Nigerian? Oh, that's Lookman. I'll talk about Lookman in a minute. So let me just bring up Bukema just so you can see him. So let me bring up Sam Bukema on FB Ref so we can have a look at him. Sam Bukema. Okay, he's Dutch as well, by the way. I didn't know he was Dutch. So this is Sam Bukema, another Dutch player. So he's played 35 games for Bologna. He's much better in the air, by the way. 77 percentile in the air. That's much better. Not bad with passes, progressive passes. He's much more defensive. The players that he's similar to are Canate, which is interesting because he might be Canate's replacement. Who knows? Obviously, let's have a look. So he hasn't played a huge amount of football. He's 26. He's played 181 games. He's got 15 goals and 5 assists. I mean, that's pretty good for a defender, by the way. So he's really good in the air. So that's a player that we're also linked with, but that might just be links because of Slot. I don't really know. He did actually. You're not wrong. Branthwaite went to PSV, didn't he, and had a spell there, didn't he, for a season or two. So let me just close a couple of these screens, and then I'm going to talk about a couple of strikers. Obviously, there's a lot of links to a couple of forwards right now. I'm just going to take this screen off because it's not good and well. Okay, so let me just close. So I'm closing that screen. I don't know what's going on with my. I don't know what's going on with my StreamYard. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to be closing this screen. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to have to close this screen. Yeah, I'm closing the screen. Sorry about this. Okay, so there's a couple of players. There's a couple of links I'm going to put in here now. I think we've got my screen working better now. Okay, so I'm just going to put a couple more links in here, and we can have a chat about these players now. Okay, so one of them is Rodrigo. He's at AC Milan. Keprin Thuram. He's at AC Milan. Okay, so Liverpool. Hang on, I'm sharing that screen. So Liverpool have already held Rodrigo talks. So I just wanted to kind of show you just a little bit about like we need to not get carried away about Rodrigo because Rodrigo's never really had a proper run in the team until last season, but he wasn't played in his natural position. He's still only 24, by the way, but just put it into perspective, yeah? Mbappe's got 27 goals in one. He's got 28, by the way. He scored again tonight. So he's got 28 goals. Rodrigo's got 32 in 6 seasons. Okay. For the money they want, which is going to be around 97 million, I'm sorry. I just think that's just an insane amount of money. And also, we've also talked to Gerald Hatto, but we just don't see Gerald Hatto as a player that's ready to be a first team player for Liverpool. Like, we're looking to get a guy in to be a starter. Like, the left back position is a starter position. The right back position is potentially a starter position. Hatto's only played one game in the last 2 years as a centre back. Like, I just don't see him as a viable option to be a centre back. So you're getting a guy in for what, 40 million to be back up to a guy that you've got to get in before him, potentially Kirkez. So it doesn't make sense. And I don't want Robbo to be our first team starter next season. And I also want to show you some links as well to Robbo and also some links to Kostas Tsimikas, because I do think Kostas goes, and I also think Robbo might go as well. So I just wanted to show you that. So that was the one about Rodrigo. This one is that's the Bologna player. So this is the Robbo one. So I'll show you the Robbo one. This is from the Daily Record, by the way. This is a tier 1 newspaper in Scotland. So this is one. This is tier 1 newspaper in Scotland, and this is an article about Andy Robinson. Hang on, let me just bring it right to the top. Okay, Andy Robinson has Celtic on his mind as Liverpool transfer decision looms. So Andy Robinson is going to be 32 in January. Yeah, I think there's a real possibility that Robbo could go to Celtic in the summer. And the reason why I say it is I know the Tierney links are still there, but Tierney's just injured all the time. Like I think there's a potential that we get that we move Robbo and Simicast on, and we have a starting left back and a backup left back that can play centre back, which makes a lot of sense. So the links with Hatto could make sense, but it depends if we go with this much business. It really does. Like, it depends if we see a centre back who can play left back as an option to cover both areas. So you've got a guy that can play centre back, and then he can move into the left back position if needed. But I just don't know whether we see Hatto as a viable centre back option as well, because I think we want to kill two birds with one stone. Which makes me think that if Robbo and Simicast go, and we get Kirkes and Hatto, we may not get Frimpong. We may just go for a Tete or a Coyote as a player that can potentially cover two areas. That's all I'm saying. That's a definite possibility. And if Canate goes because we can't agree a contract, then we may well sign Araujo, who can also play right back. So you've got a guy who's flexible there as an option. So then you've got a Hatto who can play centre back and left back. You've got Araujo who can play centre back and right back. And then you've got Kirkes. So you've got a guy that can cover for Bradley if you need him. And then maybe you do keep Gomez, or maybe you do keep Quansah as your third choice. Because Canate may well be sold if he doesn't sign this new contract. We can't let Canate go down to 1 year. We cannot let Canate go down to 1 year. I think Owen Beck's going to get sold to Blackburn. He's had a really good season. I can't see us getting Nkapie because that's another Bayer Leverkusen player. I can't see Bayer Leverkusen selling so many players. Like, they can't afford to just let all their players leave. Like, and I know that happened before Alonso came. Like, they sold like 6 or 7 big players and just replaced them. I can't see that. But Robbo to Celtic, keep an eye on that one. And then the next one is Kostas Simicast to Norwich. And the interesting thing with Norwich, so Kostas Simicast to Leeds, sorry, not Norwich. Kostas Simicast to Leeds. Now, the interesting thing with Leeds is Leeds are going to lose their starting left back, Junior Firpo, to Real Betis, who almost got to the final. So they're going to lose Junior Firpo to Real Betis, which means that they're going to need a starting replacement, and 12 million is the number that's being quoted to get Kostas Simicast out, and he's also 29. So he's not young, and he's only got 2 years left on his contract. Yeah. No, I don't know why I said Norwich. I think I was thinking about this thing, which I was going to also talk about. But yeah, and Linders will be good for us, by the way, going to Norwich, because we'll be able to get a load of players out on loan there, and that might be good. Or we might even be able to sell some players that are surplus. He might buy Morton off us. Like, he could buy Beck. I don't know. Like, Linders obviously likes a lot of our players. But yeah, that's Bobby Clark's having a nightmare out in Salzburg, though, poor lad. Anyway, so that's definitely a viable option of moving Kostas on to Leeds, Also, Queven Keller is also linked to Leeds for 40 million. I can't see us getting 40 million for him, by the way, but I can see him going to Leeds. Their current goalkeeper is horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Their current goalkeeper. I mean, you're not wrong there. So Chiesa's agreed a contract with Napoli, and that's already happened. The only stumbling block is Liverpool won a fee at the end of the loan. Napoli won an option, and we don't want to do that. We want a straight fee. So as soon as the loan's finished, he signs for Napoli. The interesting thing is Napoli are also about to close the Jonathan David free transfer as well, which makes you think there might be a forward leaving Napoli. Who plays for Napoli? Yeah, that will be Victor Osimhen. So watch this space on that one, because Osimhen's gone quiet. All the stuff about Osimhen has gone quiet. All the stuff about him going to Manchester United, him going to Saudi Arabia, all of it's gone quiet. Don't be surprised if we announce Osimhen. And also, don't be surprised if we announce Osimhen, because we're now looking at a number 10. And if we're looking at a number 10, and especially for the value of the number 10s that we're looking at, because I'll also mention another number 10 who's announced that he's leaving Leipzig at the end of the season. Yep, and he's Dutch. Xavi Simons has said that he's leaving Leipzig. So that's another number 10, high value, who's leaving their club. Don't be surprised if Osimhen tipped up at Liverpool. He'd be a relatively low-cost player for who he is. We could probably get him for about 50 million, maybe even 40 million. He's only got 1 year left on his contract. Napoli have to get him off their wage books. They have to get him off their wages. And we've been close to signing Osimhen 3 times. Like, we just haven't had the response that we wanted from the Napoli side. The reason why we didn't get him is because they pushed everything towards Chelsea, and then Chelsea backed out. And we tried to get him on loan in January, but we couldn't get it. We couldn't get it done because the Napoli owner wouldn't give him his loyalty payments, which meant that he just said, "I'm not going to move. Then I'm going to stay till the end of my contract." And look, at the end of the day, the poor guy's been racially abused by his own owner at the club. The fans threw bananas onto the pitch. The fans have abused him. The guy's been an absolute legend for them for years. He single-handedly dragged them into Champions League and cup competitions and dragged them to a league title. Like, he's been a warrior for them for years and years. And to be treated the way he has is just horrible. Like, he deserves a club that's gonna respect him. He deserves to come to a club where the fans are going to appreciate what he does. And Liverpool's the club for him. He really is. He'll be an absolute star for us. He'll score bags of goals. He'll get Salah his assist records that he deserves. Because when he does those Travellas, he'll be there to score. He's a sensational player. I can't speak highly enough about him. And if you don't think he is, watch some YouTube videos of him. There's a YouTube clip where he scores about 20 overhead kicks. Like, the guy scores overhead kicks like normal goals. Absolutely mental. I don't think Alvarez is going to happen. Like, I don't think Alvarez is going to happen. I think it's too much money to get him out of the club. I think they want 145 million. It's just not doable. Also, Isaac, they want 157 million for him, and it's just not going to be feasible. Like they're quoting bonkers numbers. They just are. Like Ekatike's 85 million. Sesko's 90 million. These guys, they're just ridiculous. The ridiculous amount of money they're asking for, and they're not proven. Like we need to go for a proven player, which is why Brian Mbeumo ticks all the boxes for me as well. We're looking at Brian Mbeumo as a potential number 9. We see him having the potential to play in the number 9 position. So he's another viable option, and he's available for 60 million. You could get your Osimhens, you could get your Mbeumo's for 60 million. I think we should be looking in those areas now. And then you've obviously got the likes of Liam Delap. We're still looking at Liam Delap, but I do see Liam Delap going to potentially Arsenal or Manchester United. I do see that as a viable option for him. So I talked about Andy Robinson. Just covered Costas. Just closing this screen. Is that closed? Yeah. Bayer Leverkusen. Close that. So so I'm going to talk about the Saudi stuff now, because there's been a lot of stuff that's just dropped about Saudi Arabia. Also, there's also new links to Nunes going to play for Jose Mourinho again. They have just resurfaced, so we can also have a look at those. Let me just bring this up. Okay, so there's this one here. Right. So Diaz is seeking around 140 to 150k to renew his contract, which is treble in his current wage. Now, Liverpool have got offers from Al Nasser, Al Hilal, and Al Etihad for Diaz around the £70 million mark. Now, if I'm completely honest, I think we take that. I genuinely think we take the Diaz money, because he's 28. He'll be 29 starting next year. His stock's never going to be higher. He's another contract that we need to get done. We've got bigger contracts that we need to sort out. We just genuinely do. We need to sort out what's going on with Jota, because Jota's down to the next 2 years and he's 28. So we need to sort out what's going on with Jota. Then you've got the likes of Konate with 1 year. Then you've got Curtis Jones, and then you've got Conor Bradley on 2 years. You've got Ali on 2 years. You've got too many things you need to do. You've still got, then you got Mo and Virgil with 2 years left as well. You've got too many players sitting on 2 years. I think this might be one that we put our foot down on, and we really do just go look, we signed him for 36 million. We can double that. And okay, yeah, he's had the best season he's ever had, 17 goals. 17 goals, 6 assists. That's fantastic. I mean, you've got Cody there that's done the same. And that's just a standard season. For me, I'd probably take the money and invest it in other areas. I probably would. Like, there's no reason why, if we got Wirtz, so if we threw that money that you get off Nunes towards Wirtz, sorry, not Nunes, Diaz. So you threw 75 million into the Wirtz deal. You put Wirtz in there. You don't think Wirtz is going to get 16 goals? Wirtz could get 20 goals. You put him in a better team. You put him in a team with more attack and threat. Like, you don't think that Salah could potentially increase his goal tally with a Wirtz there, or even Cody gets more goals? Like, I think that's a definite option. And then with Wirtz in there, you could move Diaz on, because then you've got Dominic Szoboszlai that could potentially play in the left-hand position. He plays there for Hungary. He could be the backup for Gakpo. If Gakpo needs to have a bit of a rest, then you can put Dominic Szoboszlai in there. Or you could even play Curtis Jones in there. Remember, Curtis Jones is a naturally left winger. Like, he broke onto the scene for Liverpool playing on the left wing. So potentially you've got other left-sided players that could play there. You could play Jones there. You could play Dominic Szoboszlai there to cover for Gakpo in games. You could play Wirtz there if you wanted, because he's played on the left before. And then you invest that Diaz money into Wirtz. And then obviously you sell Nunes and Jota, and you invest that money into an Osimhen. And you don't need to buy 2 number 9s. You could just buy 1 number 9 and maybe keep Jota. There's definitely potential there. There's definitely potential there. And if you do go and spend, I don't know, the 125 million euros on Wirtz, and then you spend 50 million on the likes of Osimhen, and then you obviously sell Diaz for 75, which is about 90 million euros. So 80 million euros on here. And then you've got Nunes, who could similarly go for the same. And you've got Jota that might go for 60. Then you potentially got enough money there to go and maybe get a Brian Mbeumo in, or maybe go and get a Malik Fofana, who can play left side and right side. Or maybe you just bring Doak back and you give Doak a season. Like, Doak got 12 assists and 5 goals for Middlesbrough before he got injured. Doak was one of the most informed players in the Championship when he was there, and he's still only 19. So you've got plenty of potential there with Doak. Or you maybe put Rio Gigimura into the team and give him a run and see if he can maybe get something. And then you use him as a backup right winger, left winger. So there's definitely options there. But the stock is really high on Diaz. I don't think it's going to be any higher. Like, do you genuinely think that Diaz is going to hit the same amount of goals as this season as next season? It's debatable. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying on that one. I got any more news for you? I might end the stream soon. It's getting late. Who's this guy? Yeah, so the Rodrigo one, I just want to bring up more Rodrigo stuff, because it's as well now about Rodrigo. There's a lot of stuff about Rodrigo was a player we tried to sign back in Brazil, but he wanted to carry on with his studies at school, so we didn't get him, which is an interesting one. I think Real Madrid ended up spending 25 million on him, or maybe 30 million. Same with Vinicius Jr. They spent big money on those two when they were 18. So I just don't know. I really don't know whether that outlay is going to Like, if you sign him, then what is it for Cody? Because he plays where Cody plays, and he's not gonna play backup. He's gonna come to Liverpool as a starting player. He's not gonna come as a backup player, because that the reason why he's leaving Real Madrid is because he had a really good season last season, established himself, won loads of trophies, and then got binned for no apparent reason apart from they got Mbappe, which has completely messed up their season. And Mbappe's done really well out of it because he scored loads of goals, but the team suffered greatly because it's just disjointed. So I find that one really interesting. £3 million transfer they nearly got him for back in 2017. That's insane. That's insane. They nearly got him for 3 million. Like, how many times have we missed out on these players? Like, we could have had Ronaldo for 12 million back in the day, but Rafa Benitez didn't want him. Like, seriously? Crazy. So many players we haven't got, which we should have. Quite annoying. So the other players that are linked. So there's 3 players. Oh no, it wasn't 3 players. It was 3 Saudi clubs. Yeah, I misread that. What else have we got? Oh, this is the Chiesa one, by the way. Sorry, I know we talked about Chiesa, but this is the Chiesa one. So this is from Gazzetta dello Sport. So this has all been agreed now. It's all been agreed. So Liverpool want an obligation to buy. That was the word. They wanted an obligation to buy. Napoli have no problem meeting his wage demands of 4.5 million after tax. The real challenge was Liverpool in getting an obligation buy. So this one's done pretty much. We just need to get them to confirm that they'll buy him, which they probably will. And they're also in talks with Jonathan David on a free transfer, and they're pretty close to that deal. So that brings 2 strikers in, which means potentially they're going to be losing 1 striker. There's also another player that I wanted to bring up as well, which just won't go away. And he's an ex-Everton player. So ignore the swap deal, because that's nonsense. Because okay, so if you can see on the screen, the Xavi Simons one was from Fabrizio Romano. So that one's being confirmed that he's leaving, but he's available for 60 million. Ademola Lookman, he's got 27 goal involvements this season as well. They've been good again, and he's been good again for them. I just don't know how people feel about this one though, because he's obviously ex-Everton. He's kind of gone around a lot of clubs, but he's a really good player. Like, I'm not gonna say he's not, because he's a good player. Like, and he's also consistent. He's been doing it for a while now. Like, he's been scoring goals for a while. So I'll bring up his details here. So he obviously went from Leicester to Atalanta, and he only cost 10 million, by the way. His value is like, it's gone through the roof. Like, his value. Let me close that. See, am I sharing my screen? Let me just double check. Am I sharing my screen? Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so These are his numbers. Stats. Okay, so he's got 15 goals. Yeah, so he's got 15 goals in 30 games and 5 assists. Let me just close that. In the Champions League, he played 7 games. He got 5 goals and 2 assists. And in the Super Cup, he obviously didn't score. The season before, 31 games, 11 goals, 7 assists. And then obviously Champions League, 11 games. Sorry, not Champions League, Europa League, 11 games, 5 goals, 1 assist. And they obviously won the competition. So he's been really consistent. And also, season before that, 31 games, 13 goals. Well, what you have to think about as well with Lookman is he's playing under a manager that doesn't play attacking football. So how is he going to be if he comes to us and he plays attacking football, like under a manager where there's going to be so many more chances created? We're going to have much more of the ball than Atalanta do. Like, we're going to play much more progressive football than Atalanta do. Like, I think this is a really good player, like, could thrive. I know he's 27. I get that. But he's proven over years now that he's a consistent player. If he came to us, he could do a job for a couple of years. But then you've got to ask the question, why are we selling Diaz? He's only a year older. And that's the one. Like, if you're looking at Mbeumo, Mbeumo's 25. Mbeumo's 25. He's got a few more years. You know, he's got potentially, 3 years before he's Diaz's age. Lookman's only a year younger. So I kind of rule this one out, mainly on the age. So this was one I wanted to show you before we head out, is this one here, which is Liverpool have spoken of a potential 156 million double deal, which is for Wirtz and Frimpong. And that's from Cologne-based newspaper Kola Stradaniga. So this one is out from Germany today, which I think's an interesting one. Yeah, 60 million. He's only got 2 years left on his deal, and we could potentially get him for less. Like, he could potentially be 40 million? Like 40 million, 27. Good player. Like, I don't know. It's an interesting one. He's not purple patch either. He's consistent. So this is one to watch, which could be a hell of a window, that if we get Wirtz, Frimpong, Kerkez, and Oshiman, like, that is a hell of a window. Like, it really is. And then maybe a Hato, or maybe a Lucchini, or maybe a Bachemi guy, or a Gertrude. I don't know, but serious window, that, really. I'm just going to see if there's any more bits on here. So I've obviously got this one, which is quite recent. Buying is not the most likely outcome. That's from Kicker. I'm not on Twitter, by the way. Sorry, I know people are asking. I'm not on Twitter. So I haven't got a Twitter handle. Sorry. I'm on Instagram, but I don't post any football stuff on Instagram. I just do music. because I'm a music producer as well. But if you want, you can check out my Instagram. Crack on. It's in my name there. Is there any more stuff I've got here? Let me see if there's any brand new news. There's something from the Mirror, which I can show you here. So the Mirror said that Liverpool are waiting on Florian Wirtz transfer green light after private talk. Obviously there's stuff about meeting in Blackpool that's going to come out eventually. It might be in this article, I don't know. But this is literally just come out. Yeah. Also, you have to look at the fact that David Ornstein has said he's come out and talked about Wirtz and Liverpool. So why are we releasing that stuff? Like, why are we releasing that stuff to Ornstein? Like, have we not learnt our lesson about previous players? So I don't know. I don't know, but like it could be closer than you think. It could be further down the line than you think. I think it's an interesting one, but if we're just sticking our oar in just to annoy Manchester City, then I'm all for it. Keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. Keep on pissing Manchester City off. Keep on trying to take players that they want. Keep on doing it. Like, maybe we drove the price up on Mamouche because we were linked with him, and maybe Manchester City had to pay bonkers wages on him to make sure he went to them because we were linked with him for so long. Like, I'm all for it. It is interesting. You are right that he didn't mention Manchester City in the article. He didn't. I think with Ornstein, Ornstein gets a lot of information from the clubs, which is different from Romano. Romano just knows people on the ground. Like, Romano's just he knows everybody and he deals with everything himself. All of those posts that you see on Twitter, on Instagram from Romano, he does all of that himself. He hasn't got like a person that runs his account. He runs it himself. So like while he was watching the game tonight in Rome, he was doing all of those Instagram pictures as well and videos. He does it all on a phone. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. Yeah, I know. I think Mamouche's been really good, by the way. Like, I think he has. Let me just have a quick look if there's any more stuff before we head out. 2 seconds. Okay, so no, it's all Wirtz, all of it. Everything is Wirtz. He's all over the place. So obviously Pep Linders is being earmarked for the Norwich job. Okay. So, all right. So there's a link to a Brighton player, which has just come out an hour ago, which I'm going to show you. There's also a link to another player here as well, which I haven't seen. Right, okay. So I'm just going to quickly share these. Right, okay. So we're not done yet. 2 seconds. Okay, so this one's just popped up, which is latest Premier League transfer rumours. So Liverpool are in this as well. So Liverpool stuff. Obviously, Jadon Sancho is being linked to a Turkish team, Fenerbahce. Sancho's garbage. Have you actually seen the stats on Sancho's crossing? It's 0%. He's got the worst crossing percentage in the league. Oh, okay. So Fabrizio Ramos says that we're key to closing the deal on Frimpong. Spurs and Chelsea in battle for Brighton target. Who's that? 19-year-old Bromby starlet, Klemchkov. Okay. Nottingham Forest are after Delap. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so there's nothing. So, okay, so this is 90 minutes. So let's have a look what they've got. This was at 12 o'clock, by the way. So this was posted while. So let's have a look. What have we got here? Okay, so Barcelona. Let's have a look what we got. Manchester United have entered the race for Crystal Palace Adam Morton. Never going to happen. They demand 100 million. It's not going to happen. He's also admired by Liverpool and Man City. Yeah, we know that. Never going to happen. Arsenal on the cusp of agreeing 60 million deal for Victor Gyökeres. Yeah, that's from a shit publication in Spain. Barcelona have no intention of making offers for Nico Williams. We all knew that. He's not come to Liverpool either. He's never leaving that club. Look at his brother. His brother plays with him still. He's adored there. He's on 250 grand a week. He's not leaving. Manchester United looking at Antonio Semenyo. Yeah, that's true. They want more than 65 million for him, by the way. They want 80. He's their best player by a country mile. He's also homegrown, in case you didn't know. So he actually played in England all his life. He was a kid. 16 clubs are interested in Cristiano Ronaldo's son. Manchester United, he's never going to Manchester United. I don't even know why they put that in there. He's never going to Manchester United. Not after the way Ronaldo was treated. Bayern Munich are monitoring Pedro Porro. That crap newspaper again. Real Madrid are looking to offload Rodrigo. And they want to sign Erling Haaland. That's the same news that people have been talking about for years. Like, he's not going. Oh, Liverpool are linked with Thomas Araujo. Yeah, 67 million. I said that. There's also interest from Paris Saint-Germain. That could be a possibility that he goes to PSG. And if he does go to PSG, then there's a possibility that we keep Canate, which is good. Barcelona will not sell Rafinha. This newspaper here is just poo. The amount of tosh that comes out of their mouths. Look at all of the links. They're all ridiculous links that just don't make any sense. Like honestly. There's also been speculation of Barcelona could enter the race for Wirtz. How? How are Barcelona going to enter the race for Wirtz? Barcelona can't even pay their manager a new contract. Like, Barcelona aren't going for Wirtz because Hansi Flick can't even get wages off them. Liverpool, the final stages for Frimpong, 33 million. It's actually 29 million. 126 million. I mean, that does make sense. 126 plus 33 is near enough 150, which is what has been rumoured. So though that might have legs, that 150 million pound contracts. Yeah, Manchester United, that's Sky Sports. That one's got legs. Let's have a look at the Brighton one, and then we'll head out. Let's look at the Brighton one. Who's this? Liverpool have been named as a club interested in a Brighton star. Who is this Brighton star? Who's João Pedro. I'm not going to sign João Pedro. João Pedro, they want 100 million for João Pedro. We're not going to sign João Pedro. They want 100 million, and they want 100 million for Belieber, and they're the worst club to deal with. They're the worst club to deal with. Rodrigo's also linked with PSG now. How many wingers do PSG need? Like, seriously? I'll tell you what, though. If he does go to PSG, then we should definitely try and get Barcola. That'd be cool. Try and get Barcola. Okay, so we're going to head out. I didn't realise I've been on for this long. Hope you all enjoyed the stream. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Definitely leave me a comment. I do reply back. And in my description, if you want to buy me a coffee to support the channel. I hope you have a great evening wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and look out for more videos. I'm on with Hussam tomorrow. I think it's 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock for the Liverpool show, so check me out on there. And remember, any of this stuff I told you about tonight, go and look for it yourself, because I've showed you the pages that I got my stuff from, so just go and find the information out yourself. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I will see you later. I'm out of here.